The Duke of Sussex landed in London on Tuesday to celebrate 10 years of the Invictus Games. He was keen to meet up with Dad, but apparently the King doesn't have enough free time. And there's been lots of questions about this, right? And I'm going to show you the statements. Obviously, Harry is forced to say, oh, I'm not seeing him, and this is why. And you can see he's been quite careful with this statement, because what he doesn't want to do is say, I'm really cheesed off or I'm gutted as a prince. So in response to the many inquiries and continued speculation into whether or not I'm going to meet my dad, here's the key phrase, it unfortunately will not be possible due to His Majesty's full programme. The Duke is understanding of that and hopes to see him soon. I think, as a statement, that's quite neutral. Gemma, don't you think he's not trying to play his dad offside?
No, not at all. I think that's really considered. And, I don't know. It's obviously they did meet up in February, so relations aren't completely, frosty, right? They've seen each other. But yeah, it does seem a shame. I just feel like in any situation like this, you want a family to come together again, ideally. Otherwise, it's so sad. You get one life. Life's too short, And okay, his son has written a book that he doesn't approve of, and that has,
accused him of racism.
More than that.
Yes, agreed. But do you not give your child some grace with the weird life that they've had, with everything that's been thrown at them, to make some mistakes or to...
So you think the King should see him?
Act out, if you like. I hope that they can reconcile. That said, he's got a lot going on as well. He's ill, all the rest of it.
Well, yeah.
So we don't know. This is the thing when we talk about these things. None of us really know what is going on.
I'm surprised how much we know. It would be very easy for them to say, oh, yeah, we're meeting, we're saying no more about it. Then they could have a 10-minute brush past.
But that wouldn't work, would it? Because
no,
that wouldn't work. Because the last time Harry was here and he saw him for half an hour, he went straight back to America and did a big interview on Good Morning America, where he said he just said basically that. He told everything that had happened with his father, but he also said...
He didn't say anything bad, did he?
No, he didn't say anything bad. That's not the point. The point is, Charles has cancer. Kate is taking preventative treatment for cancer. Now, when you have a blabbermouth like Harry, how can he be trusted for 1 second in any meeting? If he only had half an hour last time and went straight back to the States and did this interview, that was maybe a test. Could he be trusted? The guy can't be trusted. Now, I would imagine that Charles's wife, Camilla, will have said, do not see him, because this is going to cause you anxiety. He is suffering from cancer. It's going to cause you don't know what he's going to say about it. He may give some of the secrets about Charles's condition away that Charles does not want put in the public domain. Harry has blown...
What about Gemma's argument, which is, let's be compassionate.
I'm sorry. The guy, I could forgive him if he did one interview like the Oprah thing and then realised his mistake and said sorry. I get that. Having said that, he did call his family racist. He slated his father, slated his mother, upset the Queen, all that. But then he spent the next 4 years doing exactly that, which all ended in the 400-page temper tantrum called Spare, where he gave out details about his brother and his father that were hideous. Now, it's not easy to forgive that, but I don't even believe...
Well, you've got to try.
I don't even believe that's what this is about. I believe this is a very sensitive time for the whole family, and both Kate and Charles's feelings have to be considered at this current time. And when you have a blabbermouth like him who will go back and monetize it or weaponize it,
but
you can't take
on that interview that he did, they did, ask about Charles's sort of illness, and he said that's not for me to say. He did keep his mouth shut about...
He didn't. What he said was, he kept his mouth shut about the cancer at the time. Well, in half an hour, you can't get to know very much. However, what he did say is, when I go back, I'm going to pop by and talk to them. No, he's not, because they don't want to see him. But more importantly, if you really wanted to build bridges with your dad, Charles has spent 3 months doing not very much, being treated for cancer. He's not been working. So Harry flies in for 2 days and expects the Queen. The King has just started to work again. He's just started his schedule again. And Harry's expecting him to dump that at all.
Well, okay.
Harry's had 3 months.
I do think the whole point of being king is you can...
and it's a garden party.
You tell your courtier, clear half an hour for Harry tomorrow, please.
No, this guy, the thing is, there's a million things in this pot. His son has slated him. He's tried to destroy the monarchy. He's upset Camilla. He's upset Kate. And he suddenly says, I might want a bit of a reconciliation.
We hear you,
Let me in.
But Gemma's point is that if you're looking at it from Charles's point of view, bless him, he's of an age, he's in his 70s, he's dad, he may not be here forever. He just has to end this right, you know.
Why didn't
get to a place which is good.
Okay, so even if Harry didn't come in the last 3 months, he's flown in for 2 days. Why couldn't he have flown in 2 days before that to see his father? If he was so keen to build a bridge.
Well, we don't know.
Let me take a call. Pat in Ayrshire. Hi.
Oh, good morning, Jeremy. Nice to speak to you again.
And you, what do you think, Pat? Should the King be seeing Harry?
I think he could make a small slot to see him. He hasn't done all the things that Carole said. He never, ever used the word racist about the royal family.
Yes, he did.
That is
He did.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
He never, ever
Go back and look at the interview.
He backed up an account from Meghan that people have questioned.
He never, ever used the word. No, he didn't.
He backed up an account from Meghan. You are ignoring the facts.
But you're saying that he can't be forgiven, but they forgive Andrew for paying off £12 million to somebody he claims he never knew. So I'm sorry.
Let's not do him. Bringing up Prince Andrew in a royal argument.
It's a fair point.
Yeah, no, listen, I agree with you about Andrew, but we can't go there because we're talking about something else. But I hear you. Why Andrew's still allowed to have a horse, I don't know. But let's talk about... But you think he should see him or not?
Forgiveness. Yes, I do. I mean, Charles spoke about forgiveness and kindness at Easter. So what happened to that?
Have you forgotten that Charles is suffering from cancer and maybe seeing his son will cause him anxiety and distress? Because Harry, let's face it, has done nothing else.
Thank you, Pat. Kath in West Yorkshire. What do you think?
If King Charles has snubbed him, I think he's got every right to do so. Because unless a person has gone through and is going through what Charles is going through, then they have no right to criticise. And I know because I haven't seen or heard from my daughter in 17 years.
What did you fall out over?
She trashed me to my family and my friends. Fortunately, they know me better than she does.
Is there any way of repairing that, Kath?
No, never. My daughter was up on my estate at Christmas time visiting my neighbour across the road, and she did the same the year before, and she never even came across. So now, if anyone asks me if I've got any children, I say no. Because as far as I'm concerned, I haven't. I don't want to associate with people who can do that to a parent.
Okay.
And King Charles is going through cancer. And going through cancer is no fun. My sister's had it for 2 years and she is exhausted. So why the hell should he go out of his way to see a son that has done nothing but trash him, the Queen, our late Queen, Prince Philip, William, Kate? It's not worth it.
Thank you, Kath, and thanks for not including Andrew in that list as well. After the break, we're taking more of your calls, and best wishes, Kate, on that falling out thing.
It's interesting. She's
no
hurt,
fun,
but she still knows it's over with her daughter.
Yeah, but
you can hear the hurt in her voice.
Yeah, but I think it's never over when you're related.
No,
but maybe I don't think
This woman has just told you it's over. She because of what her daughter has done to her.
Yeah.
She can never forgive her.
Ted Bundy's
Sometimes
mum was still saying, I love him. You know, even when she found out about his crimes.
But don't you think
it never changes?
But Charles has left the door open. He's just saying not now.
Okay, we're taking more calls on this. It's obviously a really divided response to this. Is the King wrong to say to Prince Harry, I'm sorry, mate, I haven't got time? As Carole said to me earlier, it's a bit loaded, snub. Sally in Surrey, is it a snub?
Yes, it is. I feel very strongly that it's a disgraceful way to treat his son. I listened to Carole and she describes his book Spare as a temper tantrum. I would say it's more of a very honest account of a rather toxic family. The problem is the royal family have been deeply toxic to hostile to outsiders. They have a history of it. First of all, in recent memory, we had Wallis Simpson, who was treated very badly.
Yep.
Then we had Peter Townsend, who Princess Margaret wasn't allowed to marry. Then Mark Phillips was treated quite badly. Then Lady Diana, and we know how that ended. Moving forwards, we have Sarah Ferguson, who again received enormous hostility from the press. And most recently,
history here. Sarah Ferguson had a very open affair where a guy was sucking her toes in a holiday destination.
John Bryan.
And you imagine that she should be allowed back into the family. Have you forgotten what Harry has done? Have you forgotten it?
Well, hang on a second. What has he actually done? He's merely told
trashed his family.
No, Sally was asking a rhetorical question, which means she's
okay.
asking it and then she's going to answer it. It wasn't a question to you. Go on, Sally. Plough on.
Well, to be fair, Harry is a victim of press manipulation and intrusion, just like many previous incarnations. Never mind what Sarah Ferguson did or didn't do on that particular occasion. Overall, she received some extremely hostile press intrusion.
I think you've made a fair point. I'm going to come on your side.
Listen,
because the toe-sucking was after she was exiled, but Philip took against her.
Let's be brutally honest, boy. There are many, many other examples of the royal family doing outrageous things. I also think we ought to...
Go on.
The lamentable history of the royal family. And one of the tenets of the Church of England, of which King Charles is the head, is forgiveness.
That's true,
and I
Jemma.
think you have to
What do you think, Jemma? Forgive. Thank you, Sally.
I hope they can. One thing, I'm going to slightly mitigate what I say at the moment because I do appreciate that the man is, not well at the moment. So it might be that he's too exhausted, that he's too tired. I don't know. So I do have sympathy for that.
He might be having chemo.
But the other thing I will say is I do agree
having
that...
it today is what I mean.
The whole thing about temper tantrum is unfair because... Harry's clearly an unhappy person who has gone through a lot, and whatever that book was, it was an expression. Absolutely.
Brother Wills has been through the same thing and has not betrayed his family.
But, he was the second kid, and it's a weird upbringing, and then his mother died. I have huge sympathy for the man. I also think they've just...
Stop
hang on one
blaming
sec.
everything Harry is on the death of his mother. There are children all over the world, as we speak, whose mothers have died or are dying.
But there aren't children who then grow up in the glare of the press.
They weren't forced to walk behind the coffin with 18 billion people watching.
He has taken huge umbrage with the British press, who we know can be like vultures at very difficult times in people's lives.
And he's done exactly what he's accused the press of. He's violated the privacy of his own family.
Let's get some more calls.
He's tried to take
got loads of calls.
control into
Kath
his
in
life.
Cheshire, hi. Wow, this is kicked off today. Hello, Kath.
Yes, hello. I'd just like to make the point, someone already brought up Wallis Simpson. When Wallis Simpson and King Edward backed out of the royal family, they weren't continually coming here. You can't be in the royal family and not in the royal family at the same time. And they weren't continually undermining King George and the Queen Mother, were they? The Queen's parents.
You raise a good point. I mean, I don't remember it because it's a long time ago, but I did watch The Crown, where he was portrayed as a bit of a leech, actually, constantly asking for money.
But also, Kath is right. And also, they weren't monetising or weaponising what they said about their own family either.
OK. OK, Kath, they behave better, maybe. Well, at least Harry's trying to make a living. That's what you're going to kick off if I say it. But no. I just want to get calls. Paul in Greater Manchester, hi. Hi, Paul.
Hiya, Jeremy. Are you OK?
Yeah, thank you. What do you think? Is it wrong of the king to say no to Harry?
Yes, it definitely is, and I'm fed up of hearing the likes of Carole and others criticising Harry and Meghan all the time. Now, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but at the end of the day, Charles wanted to be a parent. Harry didn't ask to come into this world. Unless in exceptional circumstances, a parent should always make the first move. And I've got a father who told me when I was 10 he didn't want to see me again. He didn't for 7 years. Then we made friends, but now I've not spoke to him for 22 years, and it's his fault. There's lots of dads out there, and sometimes mums, who don't make the effort with their children.
Did your father humiliate you on the world stage? And answer me a question. Well, if Harry was so keen to build bridges with his father, why hasn't he been to see him in the last 3 months? The last visit was February for half an hour. Why hasn't he been in the following 3 months to see his father if he wants to build bridges?
Paul.
quietly.
We haven't heard him say he wants to massively build bridges. This is just the media talking again.
He has.
Well, we don't
said exactly
know
that.
what.
There's another strand to this
Jemma.
that Harry and Meghan apparently have taken on 2 PR experts who the royal correspondents say are very adept at perhaps neutralising situations. That tells me that maybe, and again, it's just speculation because I wasn't there, perhaps when he met with Charles, he might have said, right, from now on, you know, this is the way that it's got to be. And that shows me that they are trying to, from their side, to cool things down, to make amends. Here's a lad who's found out, you know, very recently his dad's ill and his sister-in-law is ill. That's going to be really, really emotional for him. And I really hope they make amends. Of course it is. He's the only parent he's got.
This is the man who slated Kate and also has told the most intimate things about his brother.
But there's been things on both sides.
Well, no, there has not. I'm afraid William and Kate have not spoken of him the way he has spoken of them.
Prince Charles, as he then was, did unfortunately, I'm trying to avoid using the word betray, but he was not faithful to Diana, and a series of events happened and Diana died. And if you're Harry, you might say that's where it started, and he's got every right to be cross about it.
Well,
don't you think?
He's got every right to. Yes, he's got every right to be cross.
I'm not judging Charles. I know these things.
Driver got behind the wheel of a car and crashed the car. Oh, come on! The guy was drunk in the car.
Yeah, but. Okay, I tell you what, we'll talk a bit more about this after the break because we've got lots of people hanging on to talk about whether Charles is wrong to say no to Harry.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I wouldn't look to the king as an example of what a father should be. Throughout stages of Harry's life, he hasn't been the father that Harry, you know, needed, whether it be, you know, stopping Harry walking behind Princess Diana's coffin or stepping in.
When that happened, I know I mentioned that, it wasn't for about 10 years that people said, that was a bit off, making the kids do that. At the time, none of us said that. I didn't think it until somebody said 10 years later, that should never have happened. But anyway, Val, you think he's not been a good dad?
Yes, and if you look at also when Harry, his son, says to him, I need to get out of the family business. I need to go and earn my own living. He did nothing. He didn't step in and be the father that Harry needed to say, yes, let's find a way through this. Let's sort this out. Yeah, go and do your own thing, son. He stood back and everything was taken away from his son. So Harry's reacting in anger. He was stripped of everything.
Well, can I just point out the Queen tried really hard to make him stay, as did his father. And as for not supporting him, he did support him for the first 2 years when he left this country, and then he stopped.
OK, Val, thank you. Mary in Berkshire, hello.
Hello.
Should the king be seeing the prince?
I think he should. I'm a mother. And I don't know if Carole has any children, but I think what she's saying is very unfair. And I think she gets on a high horse all the time and she thinks she's right with everything. It appears to me that everything that's done to Harry, he's an individual like everyone else. And it seems as if they've taken everything away from him. And I think it was very short-sighted of them to have taken the cottage. But when you have children,
yeah, well, Andrew's got that now, I think. Yeah.
When you have taking everything away from him, he's a multi-millionaire. They took nothing away from him. He chose not to be in the royal family anymore.
Mary.
Oh, Carole, give me a chance.
Well, I'm just saying, you said they took everything away. I'm saying that's not true.
All right, yeah. Carole, Mary.
Carole, I don't think you're being very fair, and I think you're quite a nasty person.
No. She's a lovely person. I know her very well. I can.
So you think it was fair what Harry and Meghan did to the royal family in that Oprah interview? Do you think it was fair what they did in the book?
Excuse me, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors.
I have to. I saw the book.
We know quite a lot. Mary, thank you. Jill in Greater Manchester, hi.
Hello, how's everyone?
Oh, you sound pained. Are you in pain over this story?
It is dragging on, this story, isn't it? I'm in agreement with Jemma.
Just get together and sort it.
Yeah, get together and sort it. I think the way that the rhetoric is, I don't think it's very helpful. I also think having a diagnosis of cancer gives someone a new perspective. it realises that, you know, they're immortal like the rest of us. And I'm quite
sorry. In order to move on, Jill, surely somebody has to say sorry. Now, the king can say, I'm sorry, I got distracted while I was married to your mum. Harry could say, I'm sorry that I called your family racist, or what. I don't know. Who has to apologise here?
I think there's apologies due on both sides. I really do.
It's a really difficult setting, though, bringing someone up in the royal family. And, of course, Charles's dad was Prince Philip, who was, you know, he's a World War II baby, was not in touch with his emotions. There's no question about that.
Do you know what I think the main thing is now? I think that Camilla and Kate have probably got a lot to do with Charles's decision, because Camilla will be saying to Charles, don't do this. Kate will be very upset at the very fact he would be coming back into the family. And I think why these two people are undergoing the treatment that they're undergoing, I think Charles will take notice of them first and their feelings, and then maybe consider Harry later, which I think is not unfair.
All right, well, let's move on. We note your views on that. Really, really vexing issue between the king and the prince, his son.